Hey, what is going on, freedom fighters? Welcome back to another Tyranny Response Tuesday here on Break the Chains Media. Today is October 28th, 2025, coming at you a little bit later than normal, but here nonetheless. Welcome, and I appreciate you joining the stream. Is into the witching hours. It is Halloween, spooky time. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I had a lot of stuff going on today, and that is why I am here at the late hour that I am. So I hope everyone can make it. I hope everyone's in the stream. And anyone that's here, I appreciate you. Say hello in the live chat because I want to know who is hanging out with me in these later evening hours, this late night jive here on Break the Chains Media. Tyranny Response Tuesday was a very, very busy day to me today. For me, anyways. I had several different meetings. I met up with a bunch of different people here in my county and in my district, and trying to basically shift and have this conversation, get the gears turning, get the machine moving, so we can actually start getting some ground cover for this upcoming midterm season that is far enough away, but right around the corner. So I met up with a bunch of different people, learned a lot about precincts, learned about precinct captains, district captains, communication directors, candidates, and what we need to do for bylaws, what we need to do for information as far as here in the Mile High City, here in the Metro Denver area of Colorado. So it's great to meet a lot of people. There's a lot of energy here in my district and here in my county, and I want this to shift, and I want this to be our time, because it is now. Now is the time that we have to grasp freedom by the horns, grab liberty, and ride it full steam into the sunset, because that is what we need to do here on this precipice of looming uncertainty with a communist takeover, with these people in office right now. You have so many leftists, so much Marxists, so many disingenuous against the people here in Colorado running, whether they're running for office or they're already in elected office trying to run for re-election. We need to make sure these people no longer retain power here in Colorado. We got to stop them at the pass. So the best way to do that is get active in your local areas, get active and communicate with your local districts. Find your local districts, get in touch with your local GOP, get in touch with your local politicians, and make sure that you are putting your efforts where they need to be, because we need a lot of people out there pounding pavement, knocking doors, phone calling, working with campaigns, finding the right candidates in these right offices, in these right races, so that we can stop the communist creep that's happening. Whether it's your representatives, whether it's your senators, but more importantly, your school boards, your county commissioners, your city council members, your at-large positions, all of these things are crucial to how we shape and form and fight back this Marxist communist creep that has infected not just Colorado, but across the country. So with that being said, I did a lot of good efforts. I shook a lot of hands and kissed a lot of babies, or shook a lot of babies and kissed a lot of hands. I can never get the saying right, but you know what I mean, right? I'm out there. I'm networking. I'm being involved, because that's what we need to do. Be the change you want to see in the world, because that is what we need to do every single day. So that's what I did. But now we're here. We're having a live stream. We're having a great time. It is Tuesday night here on Break the Chains Media. Tyranny Response Tuesday at that. So let's get into it. We've got a lot of great stuff to get into. I want to talk about the looming snap apocalypse and the SNAP benefits that are slated to end November 1st. So make sure you pack up, make sure you get all the candy you can on Halloween, because that just might be the only thing you're eating for the next month, right? No, I'm just kidding. But at the end of the day, millions and millions of Americans across the country are freaking out because they're not going to be able to get their SNAP benefits because the government's still shut down. Well, you want to know who's to blame for the shutdown? And I hate pointing fingers, but 100% it is on the backs of the Democrats. It is on the backs of Chuck Schumer and the Senate, because they are not cooperating with the continued resolution that needs to be happening at the federal level. So that's why the government shut down. Republicans, you'll hear the old conversation of, well, the Republicans own all three branches. They own all the House, the Senate, the presidency, and they got the Supreme. They got them all, right? No, it doesn't work like that, because you still need a majority vote of 60 plus to get in. It's not a simple majority. You need to have some Democrats to come to the table. But we'll get into that about the shutdown. It's how many bets do we have on when the government's actually going to reopen? I mean, I don't know. Right now we're on day 27, 26. I can't remember, but it's been a long time. But so far so good. I mean they're still spraying the skies. Everything's. We can go to the national parks, probably. I don't know, but it doesn't affect my day to day. I'm still scraping for pennies and nickels and dimes, trying to pay for my gas tank, if you know what I mean. But we're gonna get into all that. We're also gonna talk about Trump's National Guard and his specific deployment in Portland, and this whole looming Supreme Court case and the Supreme Court decision, and it might have a larger thing to play with the snap apocalypse. This National Guard conversation might come into play when we're talking about the snap apocalypse, because you start seeing unrest in the streets, you might have to have some National Guard to kind of hold the peace, if you know what I mean. But I don't want it to come to that, but we have to be aware of that, right? And then I did want to touch base on the DOJ poll watchers that are going to be in California and New Jersey, and how these Democrats are saying it's going to make voter suppression more prevalent, because there's going to be DOJ poll watchers. So you tell me, is it voter suppression to have someone from the federal government monitoring these elections? And if so, why is it voter suppression? Are they voting in ways that they shouldn't be voting federally? Let's think about that for a beat, because if California is claiming it's voter suppression, how many voters that actually go to the polls are going to be suppressed if they're not voting legally, right? If they are voting legally, they shouldn't have anything to worry about, right? But if these states are having sneaky workaround ways to get these people to vote at the polls, and the DOJ is watching, and not to mention, and you'll hear the argument about the DOJ doesn't have jurisdiction in these states. Well, I hate to break it to you, but when California is actively trying to redistrict their state, that would affect the outcome of the House seats in the federal House, that is a direct correlation as to why the DOJ should be there and should be present, because it does have an impact on a federal governmental body, right? So we'll get into all that, and then we are going to wrap up with Biden's Autopen and this whole scandal about the Biden Autopen that came out earlier today. And it blows my mind still that there are Democrats in this world who still will do the whataboutism and still say, oh, well, you're defending Trump and he's a rapist and he went on Epstein Island and he's this, that. These are all empty platitudes. This has all been debunked, and not for nothing. Trump has, and we've seen the pictures of Trump with Epstein. We've seen him, and we know his relationship with Epstein goes way back. But at the same time, that does not justify the fact that you had a walking corpse, a husk of a human, as the president for the last few years of the Biden administration. Arguably, at minimum, the last few years, if not the entire time. So who was really in charge of the Biden administration? Who was operating the Autopen? And these people that got pardons with an Autopen signature, Dr. Fauci. A whole conversation about Dr. Fauci. We'll get into all that. But folks, I appreciate you joining Break the Chains Media on this late night hour on Tyranny Response Tuesday. If this is the first time joining Break the Chains Media, hit that follow button, share this stream with all your friends and family, because that is how we get the word out and we make sure that freedom and liberty remains paramount. Maximizing liberty and minimizing government. That is the plan. That is the goal. That is our intention here on the stream. So everyone needs to be aware of that. If you want to check out the website, it is breakthechains.media. That is the landing page. You can check out all of my stuff here. I got artwork, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, as well as some of the older articles I've written. I know I'm going to get to the new ones. Don't quit bitching at me about the articles, folks. I got them coming. I've got a lot of things in the works, okay? I'm cooking with all hands on deck, folks. I'm doing a lot. I'm just one man, but you know, it is what it is. And if you wanted to pick up a bottle of Realm Walker hot sauce, that is how you support the stream here at Break the Chains Media. Realm Walker hot sauce, from mild to extreme heat, travel to 9 realms of Norse mythology through Realm Walker hot sauce. I currently have available right now, I have Asgard, I have Muspelheim, and I also have some Vanaheim. Excellent flavors. I highly recommend checking it out. If you wanted to follow Realm Walker Hot Sauce, you can check them out on Instagram at Realm Walker Hot Sauce, or reach out to me at Break the Chains Media and you can get yourself a bottle directly from me. Handmade, homegrown here in the Mile High City. And then we do have a excellent affiliate partnership program working with Chainsaw Caucus. So let's chop them trees down. Let's hit that chainsaw. Let's go. That is the plan. Felling the government. One tree, one corrupt politician at a time. That is the Chainsaw Caucus's agenda. That is the Chainsaw Caucus's brand. That is what we do with the Chainsaw Caucus. Inspired by Javier Milei and the Afuera movement. Cutting the bloat, cutting the unnecessary government spending, the reckless fiscal irresponsibilities that the government has. So if you wanted to check out Chainsaw Caucus, you can check them out at chainsawcaucus.org. You can go all the way down here and you can press give at the bottom. It will redirect you over to the donation page. $10 a month secures your seat with the Chainsaw Caucus. Use my affiliate link right on the right side here. Corey Blair with Break the Chains Media. That is how you do it. That is how you support this work that I do here, as well as Chainsaw Caucus. What is going on, Will? What is going on, my man? Appreciate you jumping in. You can also check out in the description below this live stream right now is the URL. You can click directly to take you to Chainsaw Caucus, and you can use the affiliate link in the description below, and you can donate that way as well. Chainsaw Caucus is a great group, is a great brand. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10. Your mother, your brother, and everyone around you needs to get involved with Chainsaw Caucus. Without further ado, folks, we are going to jump right into it, and I wanted to basically show you what we're getting into here. We've got what do you want to talk about Biden's Autopen, or do you want to talk about Trump's DOJ? You know what? Let's do the food stamp thing. You know what? Why don't we do the food stamp thing? Okay, let's go like this. We're gonna go like this. We're gonna bing bang boom, bibbity bop. Actually, we're gonna go right up here, and we're gonna hit this. Where is it? Oh my gosh, I don't know how to run my mouse right now. It's been a long day, folks. It has been a long day. But let's take a listen to this great post. Sassafras reposted this, but it is worth the watch. Highly recommend, because do not be dissuaded by this woman's unnaturally colored hair, because she makes some valid and excellent points. So let's take a listen.
I don't care if I get canceled, but as an EBT mother on a budget of $300 to $400, even when I only had $200, you know what's cheaper than a $3 pack of Little Debbie snacks? A 50-cent can of fucking green beans, okay? You know what's cheaper than 3 packs of soda? A bunch of cans of 50-cent cans of vegetables, okay? You know what's cheaper than the $150 you spent on chips, sugar, soda, all of that shit? Buying a bunch of meat, because the amount of snacks that you bought are enough to last you 2 weeks, and the amount of meat that I bought is enough to last me the entire month of November while I wait for food benefits to fix themselves. You can stock up on pasta. You can stock up on staples, okay? Look at that. After buying all healthy foods to ensure that my children are having as less problematic foods in their diet as possible, Look at the money I have left over for snacks. We got cookies, we got baked cheddar, whatever the fuck these are, pretzels, a bag of fruit snacks, and saltine crackers.
She's making it work, folks. She is making it work. She has intelligence. Her synapses are firing. She's putting two and two together. She's making it work for her family. And let's be honest, folks, the SNAP benefit is an important program that needs to be retained. And it does help a lot of people. However, there is a parasitic class that operates within the SNAP EBT food stamp benefit card holders who do not want to better themselves, who do not want to get that second job, who do not want to inspire for upward mobility. So they want to live on government dole. And that is honestly one of the major Democratic platforms is sustaining your voter base on government dole to ensure that your voter base keeps getting government handouts so they can never get a foot up, so they can never get a leg up and actually better themselves in society. This woman is doing very smart, intentional things to make sure that she is feeding her children and making sure that she has food in her shelves during uncertain times. And now we can take that even a step further. I mean, I have storable food. I have emergency supply program. I have like boxes of emergency supply foods. And this is obviously like when you have additional money or money to spend in times of plenty, but these are the times specifically when we're talking about, hardship kind of runs, you never know when hardship's going to hit, whether it's a natural disaster, a crisis, or just the fact that the government shut down, so there's a lot of things that can cause uncertainty as far as month-to-month financial instability. But she is doing everything she can to make sure that food is on her shelf. So let's keep listening.
And you know what my children don't complain about? Mom, why can't we have cake and ice cream and sugar all the time? I don't give a crap. I don't think children should starve, but I don't think children should be being fed poisonous shit all the time because
100%.
Parents want to boo-hoo over the fact that they're not willing to get their lives in order. And obviously, I'm not talking about disabled. Obviously, I'm not talking about elderly. And obviously, I'm not talking about the parent that just lost her husband and now has to do it on her own. Right. Obviously, I'm not talking about people who got raped and had to take care of a kid that was forced upon them.
Well, and then obviously we get a little bit more of the leftist arguments, but at the same time, that's not invalid, right? That is not invalid to say that there are many people in various degrees of circumstances who rely on these SNAP benefits, right? But I think when I speak that there are lots of people that operate within these SNAP programs who use these SNAP benefits for unhealthy food, for sugary drinks, for sodas, candy, bullshit, all the things that the MAHA movement and RFK Jr. wants to try to cut out of people's diets, trying to make a better and healthier routine for these society. Like, why are we spending money? Why are we spending government money on this kind of trash? She's actually doing the right thing. She's actually looking forward. What's up, Taco Johns? Appreciate you jumping in the stream. What is going on? He's in the chat, folks. Appreciate you. You get the treasure chest. You get the treasure chest award, my man. Appreciate you jumping in. But honestly, though, she's making good points, and she's got a sound mind on her head because like this is where we need to hold the line. And when I speak about the snap-pocalypse, I'm not speaking about this girl here. This girl's actually trying to make it work for her and her family and her own, right? All of the ones she cares about. She understands what staples are. She understands what's healthy. She understands what's going to last for an extended period of time, right? I am talking about these inner city folk, to put it lightly, that have been, and I'm sure you've seen it. I could pull them up if we want to. We can find them. But these videos of these people that are saying, I'm gonna steal what needs to be. I'm gonna steal what I need. Government ain't gonna take my money. Government ain't gonna take my money. I'm gonna go get it. You don't get paid enough. You Walmart workers don't get paid enough to stop me and my cart of food. You know what I mean? We don't need that kind of behavior in society, right? What is up? What is up, Brian? Appreciate you jumping in. Thanks. What's up? What's coming on, man? How you doing? Thanks for coming in. But we don't need these kind of people jumping in and causing unrest because the government is shut down, and because they're not getting their government dole, their government block of cheese. We need to instill a upward mobility society that allows. This is what SNAP is essentially for. When you're down and out, when times are tough, the government's there to assist you, not to make you rely on them, right? But this is the whole Democratic platform. They want these voters, they want their voter base, they want their demographic voter base to be reliant on the government, not just on food stamps, but on protection, but on taxation, but your school education system, all of these different things. All of these leftists, all these liberals think that the government is there and that you need to rely on the government. And that is the last thing we need. Let's go, Taco John. Yes. What is going on, Will? Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. That's actually what it's called, right? What a joke. Sugar, why not fentanyl? I mean, they've already decriminalized fentanyl, Will. I mean, you can go do a foilie on the street by the side of the road next to the light rail station. I found it out myself when I was cleaning up trash last weekend, right? No, but this is the sad state of affairs, and this is what we have to do. We have to understand that this girl is actually speaking some truth. Let's keep listening a little bit longer.
So don't make it into that. My children are so health conscious that I can let them have their whole Halloween bag of candy in their room, and they only limit themselves to a piece a day. They're not
I don't know about that.
Dependent on sugar.
Folks, let's be honest. Kids gonna be eating more than one piece of candy a day, especially around Halloween. Let's be honest, right? Let's be honest. That's why you spend 2 hours trick or treat, and that's maybe these people pissed off about their SNAP benefits better all go put on a Halloween costume and go run up and down the street, pick up their Halloween candy, go live off that for the next month. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what they need to do instead of bitching about the government being shut down and Trump orange man bad. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they go put on a Halloween, get a scary old ghost costume or a witch costume. Maybe they dress up as a gorilla. I don't know. But let's say here, you're worried about food. You're worried about having your little snacky poos. Go out trick or treat for a month. And maybe get enough candy for the next month. You know what I'm saying?
They don't freak out because I don't give them the bag of chips. It's all about how you raise your child. The reason your kid wants a plethora of unhealthy foods versus vegetables is because that unhealthy foods is what you shoved in their face the most, okay? And if anything, you should have just waited a couple years, let them be on a diet of vegetables, protein, and fruits, and then introduce them to the fun stuff so that they didn't get some form of addicted, considering a lot of you admit that American food is addicting, but are still willing to give it to your kids. If all your grocery store serves is pasta and tomatoes and broccoli and chicken, then work with those healthy foods.
And you know what, folks? When you get healthy foods, when you feed your family healthy foods, and you actually buy real staples and what means to be staples, particularly protein, high protein diets and fresh produce, keep it in the fridge and properly clean it, take care of it, it does last a lot longer than you think it does, okay? Just saying. I try to stay away from boxes of food. Anything that comes in a box or a bag, try to stay away from. Canned food is good, but use that as kind of like a backbone or like a long store of food. But let's be honest, folks. This is what we have to do. We have to rethink how we take care of ourselves, how we take care of our nutrition. But because the SNAP benefits are gone, doesn't mean it gives people the right to go out and riot and steal and loot shit, right? That is not what we want to see. And I wanted to see if I can find some, let's see here. Let's see if I can find any of these freakouts, right? Oh, yeah, this one's a good one. Yeah. Will Long, we ran into a drug den on the North Metro Light Rail project. It was an emergency when we ran across a few needles and some beer cans. That was like a decade ago. Yeah, now that's common occurrence, right, Will? Yeah, running into needles in a homeless encampment. That's just another Wednesday, bro. That's just another Wednesday. Seth Sparky, what's going on? Lobster for nothing and the chips for free. I want my EBT. I like that rendition. That's good. That's some good shit right there, Seth. All right, let's take a listen to this chick from Wall Street Apes, because this is like a prime example of the type of people that live on government dole. Okay?
Employee of the school district, I only get paid once a month. By the time I get my bills paid, I have nothing left to pay for food and other basic needs. If it wasn't for SNAP benefits, I wouldn't be able to feed my children or myself. I work, pay my bills, and like every other mom, I want to be sure that I have enough food to put on the table.
You know what, folks? She eats all the food on the table. I wonder what her kids look like, you know? If she gets $400 of food stamps a month, she probably eats $350 of them. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Come on. Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's be honest. You know, she was the top find. I'm sure there's other ones in here. Yeah, listen. These are the kind of people, right? These are the kind of arguments that don't need to be had when we're talking about the snap-pocalypse. The snap-pocalypse is going to give Trump the reason to deploy National Guard. We're going to get into that in a second. But let's listen to a couple more before we get into that conversation.
You know what? Since they want to take food stamps away, I'm going to fucking Walmart. I'm going to rack up any damn Walmart, throw that shit right in the basket. I'm coming right about that bitch. Move, get the fuck out of my way. I'm not paying for a damn thing. Y'all got me fucked up. I ain't getting no food stamp on EBT. Oh, watch this. Watch this. I'm about to, it's about to be some bullshit. It about to be some shit. I'm about to go in that bitch masked up, you hear me? Masked up. Racking every damn thing up off the damn shelf, throwing that shit in a basket, walking clean about it.
This is a case study. This is a case study in observation. We're observing this as David Attenborough, and on a wildlife documentary, right? We see here the Native American, worried about his food stamps and wondering what will he be able to eat the next day. And this is his response, right?
Well, got me fucked up, bud. About to be Thanksgiving, you heard me? And Christmas coming up. And y'all gonna take away nigga EBT? Oh, nah, y'all got the game really fucked up. Y'all got the game fucked all the way up, son. Believe it. Watch this. Y'all think I'm playing? Watch this, you heard me?
We have a male North American local native searching for his food, searching for the land in which he seems to feed for his family and his friends. However, the EBT stamps have all dried up, and now he searches, longing for a meal for his empty belly. Right? Is this what we really want to live for in America?
Watch what I do. Watch what I do. I'm going to go in that Walmart with a basket, and I'm going to rack all kind of shit. I'm going to throw this shit on the basket. I'm going to walk right about that bitch. Put this in the car. Phew, I'm out of there. I'm out of there. Gone. I'm out of there. You know what?
Is he okay though? Honestly, is he okay? Should we get someone to check in on him? Listen to this one.
Jay Trump, I'm gonna tell you just like this. What the fuck you mean? Who ain't getting that goddamn food stamps in goddamn November? Cause I'm getting my goddamn shit. I don't know about the rest of you motherfuckers, but I'm getting my shit. Cause I'm gonna tell you just like this on Jesus Lamar motherfucking Christ. I will be at motherfucking Walmart with my steel toes on and my motherfucking helmet, and I dare a bitch try to stop me from walking out that motherfucking store with my groceries. Baby, I'm 200
She needs to calm down.
Solid. Baby, you want to see a human motherfucking bulldozer, baby? Because that's what the fuck I'm going to turn into. If you think you going to stop me from leaving out that goddamn store with my motherfucking monthly groceries that I get every goddamn month, I ain't bothering no goddamn body, okay? Why the fuck is y'all bothering me and my goddamn food? I'm just so tired of his big back, bald head, cradle cap having ass. Shaped like a motherfucking penguin any motherfucking way, albino motherfucking walrus looking ass. I'm sick of him. Like, it's gonna be an episode of goddamn Snap if y'all turn them goddamn Snap benefits off, I can tell you that.
Yes, here we see a native North American woman in her natural habitat, complaining and moaning, doing her native tribal calling for food assistance from daddy government, the state, because she has not received her dole of government cheese. Right? Folks, This is not the world we want to be living in, my friends. Like, it's kind of crazy, and it's over and over. It's all up and down here. And the funny thing is that all of these people are extremely nourished. To say it lightly, they are extremely nourished individuals who have obviously used every dollar of their SNAP benefits to their own expense. This is the world we live in, folks. Yes, exactly, Seth. Another starving scholar. Yes, these people are malnourished. They're being dragged by their feet into the concentration camps because they are so malnourished. Exactly. It's insane. The level of mental disconnect that we have to have with these people. It's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. So with that being said, we are going to transition over to what I think is the 1-2 punch, and how this whole snappocalypse could easily fund and funnel into the justification of this whole Supreme Court conversation of Trump's federal authority to deploy the National Guard. Will Long, we are held hostage by thugs who would visit violence to run upon us if we do not allow our income to be garnished to their benefit. Yes, this is why taxation is theft. Exactly. Our tax money is going to fund morbidly obese people to then fester and foment into a further situation of unhealthy eating habits and early graves. Our money is literally being, it's either being fed to these overweight, obese individuals, or it's going to, at least in Colorado's Proposition LL and MM, I can't remember which one, but one of them is going towards healthy school programs, right? Healthy school food programs that the kids already throw away in the trash anyways because the food programs are already trash. We don't even need Proposition LL and MM. Vote no on Proposition LL and MM because they are just workarounds against Tabor. I actually, in my travels today, I did find out an interesting fact, and you can take it to the bank. But from a political insider, they said any proposition that has 2 letters in it, at least in the state of Colorado, if it has 2 letters in it, it is a proposition directly impacting or attributing to Tabor and the whether it's a workaround or it's a without raising new taxes, quote unquote, how they label it. So if it's 2 letters, directly impacts Tabor, you always vote no against 2 letters. If it's a single letter, you need to research any proposition that has a single letter in it, because that directly affects extremely local issues, that whether it's your city or whether it's your county. But single letter issues you must research in its fullest, because that is not about Tabor, but it's more specific to your immediate community. So just a little insider knowledge that I have. But with that being said, all of this conversation about SNAP and about the snappocalypse, and then you had Antifa, then you had the No Kings protest, you had the anti-ICE raids. You have so many different ways and angles that the Trump administration and the DOJ could deploy National Guard justification, right? And we're seeing this now, especially, this is an article from NPR. This is a couple days ago. I think it's like a week or, it's about a month old, but it speaks on how Donald Trump was using National Guard in Chicago and in Portland and in so Oregon and Portland officials, talking about Illinois, filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration from sending National Guard troops to the state. It's been pushed back all the way, and now we are seeing this conversation go to the Supreme Court. And Supreme Court is set to rule on the National Guard troops in Chicago as of yesterday. It could give Trump permission to send the National Guard anywhere in support of federal law enforcement. Let me know what you folks think in the chat, because I think they're going to vote, or they're going to rule in favor of Trump being able to deploy National Guard anywhere to assist in federal operations. And if they don't, we have a Supreme Court issue, to say it lightly. Let's take a look. From the Washington Monthly, the Supreme Court has fatefully choice this week, arguably as daunting as any day in history. Wow, that is a very bold opening. Very, very. I mean, is this person supposed to be a book writer, or is he supposed to be writing a news article? Let's keep reading. Of the 28 prior applications from Donald Trump's administration that landed on its shadow docket, Trump v. Illinois is the most important. While supposedly temporary, the outcome could establish rules for deploying National Guard troops to enforce the law anywhere in the country. Here's the deal. On October 10th, Joe Biden appointed District Judge April Perry in Chicago issued a temporary restraining order to prevent the use of federalized National Guard troops in and around Chicago. Less than a week later, 7th Circuit panel consisting of one judge appointed by H.W., one Barack Obama, and one Trump unanimously kept the critical part of the injunction intact, denying Trump's request for a stay. Quote, "We conclude that the district court's factual findings of this preliminary stage were not clearly erroneous, and the fact do not justify the president's actions in Illinois, even giving substantial defense to his assertions." The panel wrote, "The administration remains barred from deploying the National Guards of the United States within Illinois." Mostly fiction. You got a point there, Will. You do have a point. It is mostly fiction indeed. It's definitely a opinion piece, to say the least. The clearly erroneous rule serves as the gold standard. Why do they always use the phrase gold standard, right? That appellate courts rely on to review lower court findings that facts on a civil case. The standard is highly differential to the fact finder and apparently rarely succeeds solely based challenging a factual determination. Now, the Justice Department has petitioned the Supreme Court to do just that, not to just stay the district court's injunction pending appeal, but to issue an immediate administrative stay to prevent ongoing and intolerable risk to the lives and safety of federal and personnel while this court considers the application. What is up, Joe? What is up? You get the treasure chest too, my friend. Actually, you know what? You know what, Joe? Because I got two good old boys in the chat. You guys get the goddamn chainsaw. Boom, hit it. Chop that tree down. Let's go, baby. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the party, guys. I put that sound bit in just for y'all. You know, gotta represent. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No, dude, I've been busting my ass all day, man. I went to I had a doctor's appointment this morning, and then I went to the Jeffco GOP meeting at lunch, and then I went to my son's dentist appointment, and then I went to the House District meeting at 6:00 today, and I just got home about an hour or two ago. So it's been a busy day for me as well. But we're here, we're crushing it, we're keeping it going. Vote no on everything. Absolutely right. No, so we're discussing the Supreme Court ruling on the National Guard application and Trump's use of the National Guard to deploy. And honestly, my thoughts. You let me know in the chat. All of this is constitutionally sound when the National Guard is being used to defend against federal property and federal application and federal processes, i.e. ICE and rounding up illegals and watching federal polling places and potentially, I don't know, just maybe, if we get some snappocalypse riots and unrest. I don't want to see militarized police on the street, folks. I'm not a proponent of a federal militarized police force, policing and clamping down on the citizens of this country. I do not want to see that. However, if these feckless and weak Democrat officials that run these cities, that allow these things to fester, that allow this kind of crime to populate, what do you do? Yeah, they refused Texas v. Pennsylvania and Ocean Tech. The Supreme Court kicked down, if I understand it right, they kicked down Ocean Tech and they kicked down the Snope decision. They denied it on cert, which means they basically said that if I understand it right, that means they kicked it back down to the circuit court to say the circuit court needs to review this case, and basically saying the circuit court needs to basically check themselves, and the ruling at the circuit level is not constitutionally sound. If I'm not a legal scholar, but that is what I believe they did with Ocean Tac and the Snope decision. Texas v. Penn put into a constitutional crisis effectively where the elections are not carried out according to the Constitution. Yeah, that was the whole mail-in ballot thing, or the counting window of the election day versus the 3 days after, right? Or was it Texas went against Pennsylvania because Pennsylvania changed its mail-in ballot procedures, something along the mail-in ballot window to receive the mail-in ballots, if I remember that right, Will. But correct me if I'm wrong. But it all becomes a blur after a while. But yeah, denied searches means they don't review the case. But that doesn't mean it can't go back up from the circuit, correct? It doesn't mean it's dead. It just means that it needs to be re-reviewed and then pushed back up on a new set of certification, correct? But like I said, I don't know. I'm just a bartender. I'm just a guy in my basement. I'm just asking questions, right? Yes, Penn changed the executive order but requires legislative action. Yes. And this is just an article from NPR. The National Guard serves three types of capacities: state active duty, where the troops are state funded, Title 32, which how the Guard is being deployed in Memphis when troops are under state command but federally funded. Then there's Title 10, and that's what Trump is trying to use. Trump is trying to use Title 10 when the Guard members are both federally controlled and funded. According to the provisions, the president can deploy the National Guard into federal service when the country is under an invasion, a rebellion, or danger of rebellion. I think we're already there, folks. If we're already in a state of rebellion where we have a bifurcation, I mean, arguably we're at a point where we might even see balkanization. And do we call it balkanization, or do we call it a constitutional crisis here in America because we're not Balkan states? I don't know, but we're in this weird place now where blue states just overtly defy federal law. We're sitting in Colorado where they still remain a sanctuary city state, and sanctuary city policies allow illegal immigrants to come on through, and then they bark and complain because ICE is wrangling up and arresting illegal immigrants here in Colorado. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. But it makes perfect sense if you're trying to destroy America from within. Sounds like something a communist would do, right? I think that this sets a precedent, and I think that this is the tipping point, and we're at this point in the road where, no different during Abraham Lincoln's tenure as a president, when he arrested the Maryland legislature, half the Maryland legislature, and and suspended posse comitatus and made a corridor up and down through Maryland to get from D.C. up to the Union. We are in uncharted territory as a nation when it comes to how the president operates and employs his executive authority. And that's the thing, is that so many people lose their shit and they say it's unconstitutional, but there's no way, and there's no doubt in my mind that there isn't that there's a small army of legal representation and legal appointees within the Trump administration checking and double checking, crossing their T's and dotting their I's to make sure that they're doing everything they can. Stephen Miller, I'm sure, is right up there trying to make sure that everything that they are doing is on the up and up. Until they have to set a precedent. And this is the point where we're at, right? Generally, the National Guard has been federalized and deployed domestically to respond to civil unrest in extreme circumstances where state and local law enforcement were completely overwhelmed. Critics of the troop deployments argue that the situation in Portland and Chicago do not rise to the level of a rebellion. They also say that the troops, to be federalized, their governor of each state needs to approve Title X order. Well, if the governors are in rebellion against the federal government, what do? I wish I had a National Guard, someone who worked with the National Guard in the chat right now. But at the end of the day, it's just like we're sitting here trying to make sense of it all. We have to stop thinking about emotions. We have to start thinking about actions. If states are willfully ignoring the federal laws, if they're allowing crime to fester, if they're allowing the citizens to unrest, if they are not policing effectively, then what do you call that? Do you not call that civil unrest? Like they say right here? Civil unrest in extreme circumstances? Blunt front AC, Maha doesn't get enough hate. What are you saying? You saying Maha should be hated for trying to eat healthy or what? Expound on your thoughts, my friend. And then we're tying into deploying troops and moving people around, right? So DOJ prepares to send election monitors to California and New Jersey following the request from the state GOPs. So following the requests from the state GOPs asking for federal poll watchers, DOJ poll watchers, to make sure that the votes that are being cast in these special elections, in these upcoming elections, especially California, when we're talking about Proposition 50, we're talking about their redistricting efforts that would directly affect how the U.S. Congress counts Californian districts for the House of Representatives, that would directly impact federal power, federal structure. So of course we should have federal DOJ officials to monitor the elections. Right? Makes sense to me. The DOJ announced Friday that it's planning to monitor polling sites in Passaic County, New Jersey, and 5 counties in southern and central California: LA, Orange County, Kern, Riverside, and Fresno. The goal, according to the DOJ, is to, quote, ensure transparency, ballot security, and compliance with federal law. I don't see any problem with that. And you're going to hear people barking in the back. I see you back there. Gandalf, what do you got to say? What do you got to say to these people in the back complaining about it's only the states? It's state law, and you can't have federal employees. What does Gandalf say to these people?
You shall not pass!
Exactly. Will Long, Colorado doesn't make the cut because we have the iron pyrite standard. Iron pyrite. Yes, the most safest and secure elections in history. Robert F. Kennedy is a joke. It's unbelievable how many people this has hurt. He's against science. Where are you watching from, Blunt? Are you watching me? Are you watching the live feed? Or are you watching the me talking about snaps? Oh yeah, man. You can ask a question. I see you. I don't know. Are you watching it live? Because I'm talking about the DOJ and setting up poll watchers. But I'm down to talk about Maha too. What do you got for me, my friend? Yeah, the poll watchers are to ensure transparency, ballot security, and compliance with federal law. Transparency at the poll translates into faith in the electoral process, and the Department of Justice is committed to upholding the highest standard of election integrity, Attorney General Pam Bondi said in a statement to the Associated Press. Blunt Front AC on the Howard Stern show said Trump said that he walked into a girl's dressing room to look at people's children's naked body. Was Trump lying? Bro, I couldn't tell you two shits from Sunday, and honestly, I don't give my ass for my elbow. I really don't. If we're gonna be playing whataboutism, my man, like I it's not about that. I'm an upstanding man Why should I stand next to someone that says something like that? I mean, no one's asking you to stand next to Trump. But would you rather stand next to a husk of a human named Biden? Would you rather stand next to globalist puppets? Would you rather stand next to? I mean, they're all part of this. They're all part of this elite club. No one's a saint. In order to become president, you have to do some compromising bullshit. No one's perfect, and I'm not sitting here. And quite frankly, I'm not even telling you. Not. I wanted you to ask these questions, but I don't give a shit about your fucking question, bro. Like, I'm not even talking about Trump right now, and you're trying to say whataboutism about Trump and his, well, he said this on Howard Stern, and he did the thing, and he hung out with Epstein, and he flew on, he had his daughter sit on his lap. Bro, I don't give a fuck. I'm not even talking necessarily about Trump and his behavior. I'm not justifying and defending Trump's behavior. I'm not sitting here saying that. I'm talking about the election integrity in fucking LA right now, and the fact that these people run illegal immigrants and they have compromised election security systems, and they want people to ballot harvest, and they want to steal these elections, and they want to redistrict California so they can flip the fucking map. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about fucking Donald Trump and when he had some bullshit side bro piece comment he had to say on fucking Howard Stern. I don't like this idea that they are the same. Joe didn't chase away America's allies. Trump chased away America's allies and business partners. By doing what? Bro, are you really going to come in here and tell me that illegal immigrants have done a lot for this nation? I'm not saying that they're not. I'm asking them just to become legal citizens. They don't have a right to vote in our elections that determine our elected officials. They are illegal. They do not belong here. Go through the proper ports of entry and then try again. I am against pedophiles. I've called them out. And I don't know where you've been the last fucking 6 years I've made videos, but I've called out Epstein Island. I've called out Bill Gates. I've called out everything involved with Epstein Island and pedophiles and blood satanic sex cult magic. Evil shit. He put tariffs on everyone. Is that pushing away America's allies? We've been the victim of tariffs. America has been the victim of tariffs for way many more years than Trump just inflicted on everyone else. Canada had a 200% tariff on American milk. Don't get me started about he's pushing away America's allies. They don't vote. You just said you didn't care what Trump said, you liar. What are you even saying? I appreciate you trolling me right now. I appreciate this. No, you are ignorant because you think that the media, the mainstream Mockingbird media, is telling you why you hate Trump. You hate Trump because he put tariffs on people and he's a pedophile, right? That's why you hate him? That's why you hate Trump? Blunt front AC. Go take a history lesson and understand the last fucking 30 years of our corrupt government has been run by fucking sycophants and megalomaniacs. Trump is no savior. Trump is no saint. But at the end of the day, I am not here and going to allow my country to be taken over by foreign interests, illegal immigrants, open borders, communists, and raping and pillaging our wealth away from our nation and siphoning it off. You want to talk about America's allies? What happened when Bill Clinton sent all of our manufacturing overseas to China back in the 90s? Where were you? Were you bitching about it back then? Nope. Sure you weren't. I don't fear the poor. I tell them to get better. I tell them to do better shit. I wanted to spend money on fast train. You're in fear. Bro, I'm about to just ignore you, my man. Like, you're just ripping apart the chat, and I'm not even, this is not even what I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about fucking California's election integrity and how we need to have poll watchers and how the poll watchers are going to effectively cause voter suppression. California is probably number one, close to Colorado's illegal immigrant problem, the illegal immigrants do participate when they ballot harvest. You have multiple ballots. You have people filing these things out, mail-in ballots. You have people fundamentally changing our demographics. That's how they read through the census. These illegal immigrants get signed up to vote automatically in Colorado when they go to the DMV. So don't tell me I don't know what the fuck's going on. These illegal immigrants get registered to vote at the DMV. Where are you fucking from, bro? Where are you living? You living on the West Coast? You up in Oregon? Where you at, my friend? I fear the rich that take more and more. You don't know how things work. What do you want to talk about? Poll watchers? People that scare others? They don't vote. Illegal immigrants do get registered to vote. Salt Lake. Are you part of the fucking the gay shooter club? You part of that gay shooter club out there? The fucking furry shooters? Sound like one. Yeah. I'm not living in fear, my man. I'm living in real hard facts. I'm trying to defend and represent my constitutional republic against communism and against Marxism, against people that extort and extract wealth from hardworking individuals. I want to expound on capitalism, reduce bureaucratic legislation, reduce and open the free market, and reduce fucking red tape that government causes. You love to live in perpetual government. Gimme. I want more. That's what you want. You want government to help everybody? Get fucking bent, bro. I don't hate gay people, but I do own a fucking skateboard that says don't be gay. Take it as you wish, blunt front. Acknowledging the fact that illegal immigrants are infecting and destroying the dynamic of our nation through taking low skill job markets. They take over housing that would be otherwise affordable for younger generations. They flood the food stamp market. They flood our state medical run programs. The programs designed to actually help and benefit citizens, illegal immigrants abuse and take advantage of, especially in blue states, because the blue states cater to illegal immigrants because they need to bring illegal immigrants in to turn them into Democrat voters. That is how the structure has been working for the last 15 some odd years. But you're probably a mid-20-year-old gay dude that lives in fucking Salt Lake City. Probably wears fucking ears and a cat tail. Sure you are. I don't even fucking... The KKK can suck on my fucking foot, dude. I don't give a fuck about the KKK, bro. Yeah. How dumb are you? Exactly right. I'm moving on, dude. Peace out, bro. I don't give a fuck what you want to say. I'm going to keep going with my live stream, but how dumb is it to think Uncle Sam would let poor people from another nation take advantage? Where the fuck are you even coming from? Our entire Democrat apparatus is operating on exploiting low wage and immigrant labor. They want a serf class. They want to make all of us serf classed, and they want to take away more and more of our rights and extract more and more of our wealth so that the elites, the socialist Democrats, can sit on top of their ivory towers while we all suffer, while they say, we're going to work on that. We're going to get right on that. I'm so happy that you're enjoying your night right now, trying to troll my chat, when I'm literally just trying to have a conversation about the state of the nation. And this is proving my point, because you can't even functionally give a proper argument as to why I support states' rights, I support limited government, I support maximum liberty, I support the proper effectiveness of the deployment of our constitutional rights, the use of federal government, the use of executive authority. If governors are defying federal law, they need to be put in check. if the governor of California or the governor of Illinois do not respect the will and wishes of the federal government, who is employing laws that are already on the fucking books. The federal government has the executive authority to come in and clean fucking house. Chew on a boot, blunt front. I don't know what else to tell you. I support the proper effects of using the authority given to the federal government. I do not support big government. I support government when it imposes the proper constitutional behaviors and defends the rights of the citizens and defends our borders. I don't support big government. I want to limit government and maximize liberty. That is my ethos. That is what I live on. But if the governments of the states do not represent the will of the people and they represent a globalist agenda, I would rather have the federal government come in and make sure that they're following the federal law of the land. Jim, take him to task, because this little fuckstick doesn't know his ass from his elbow, doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's some fucking fat furry fuck from Salt Lake City who wants to fucking troll the chat, dude. Have fun with him, Jim. I do not want government on the streets. I do not want government on the streets. But if we are going to be living in such uncertain times that you have anti-ICE protests, Antifa scum impacting the federal authority and the federal capabilities of ICE law enforcement detaining and deporting illegal immigrants, if you can't have safe and secure streets by your governor, by the blue states running these cities, if they don't want to follow their laws, who's going to step in but the federal government? I'm fucking moving on, dude. Have fun, blunt front. Just make sure if you're going to sit on anything tonight, make sure you put enough KY on it, my friend. I'll tell you what. Fucking A. These people, they just don't understand it, dude. Trump can deploy National Guard in Portland, appeals court panel says, as of October 20th, 2025. Wow. A federal appeals court on Monday said that President Donald Trump could deploy National Guard troops on the street of Portland, Oregon. The 2-1 ruling by a 3-judge panel on the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals stayed the temporary restraining order issued by a federal district court judge on October 4th, enjoining Trump's order to federalize 200 members of the Oregon National Guard to protect an immigration and customs enforcement facility in Portland. Huh. Interesting. You know what, blunt front? Crime is way down when blue AGs, when blue state attorney generals redefine what it means to report on crime. So of course crime will be down when you change the data metrics on how you report crime, numbnuts. Fucking A. After considering the record at this preliminary stage, we conclude that it is likely the president lawfully exercised his statutory authority under a law which authorizes the federalization of the National Guard when the president is unable with the regular forces to execute the laws of the United States. The majority of the panel said in its order on Monday, "Stick that in your pipe and smoke it." Fucking A, dude. Yeah, I had these articles written up on Snap, but I did want to talk about Biden's Autopen, because the whole Autopen thing just blew the can wide open today. So if you want to talk about government corruption, if you want to talk about slime bags and sleazeballs and federal malpractice and how the federal government exercises unjust and unconstitutional behavior, let's take a conversation. Let's go into the fucking Biden Autopen scandal, okay? Let's do that. How about we go into that, okay? Let's talk about that. Thumbs up in the chat if you are enjoying this. Blunt Front, appreciate you being here because I love my haters. Gotta love my haters. So thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming in and enjoying my Tuesday night Tyranny Response Tuesday live stream here on Break the Chains Media. But let's get right into it, folks. This is from the Oversight Committee, and I said, how long was Joe Biden incapacitated by his cognitive decline and operating as our president? Better question, who was running the show while Sleepy Joe ate ice cream? Let's take a listen, folks. Let's take a listen.
Issue in the campaign, the president's fitness or his age? Did you ever see President Biden in a wheelchair?
I do not recall ever seeing President Biden in a wheelchair.
And new information now on the people in his inner circle and how the cover-up actually operated.
Oh, wait, sorry.
Senior aides
I thought my camera was on.
here until just a couple months ago, the beginning of this year, manipulating an ailing president for their own gain.
How much were you paid for your role in the campaign in 2024?
Just a little bit short of $1 million.
He was Michael Donnellan, former senior advisor to the president, was paid $4 million a year. No, this actually came out this morning, Blunt Front. Speaking of ice cream, shout out to Ben and Jerry's. Absolutely. This came out this morning. So, yes, some of these videos and these reports are older, but we're setting the stage, okay?
You believe that the president should stay in the race. Your own financial stake in the matter was a factor in any way in your advice to the president.
I don't believe
And when it comes to President Biden's decline, the official word from Biden World about all these news stories is that nothing has been revealed this week that shows that President Biden was anything but an effective president.
Yes, I noticed that he was aging in terms of his physical condition. I noticed that, he shuffled more.
That he has more stumbling over words and gaffes than he did at the beginning of the term.
The fact that I don't know if we need to watch this whole 9-minute clip, but the fact that Joe Biden had, what does he have, bone cancer? Or no, he has prostate cancer that metastasized to the bone. Is that right? Let me look it up. I want to make sure that I'm not spreading misinformation here. So Yes, just so everyone sees, I pulled it up. Former President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer that has spread to his bones, which means it metastasized to his bones. Characterized by a high Gleason score of 9. This diagnosis indicates a serious health challenge, but there are treatment options available that may help manage the condition. And just for all my friends who used to watch Loveline out there, Dr. Drew, when this news first came out of Joe Biden's prostate cancer that metastasized to the bone, when this first came out, Dr. Drew said that when you have any cancer that metastasized to the bone, that cancer had to have been aware and prevalent of this cancer. They had to have known about this for at least 4 to 6 years. Even the most aggressive form of cancer, you would have at least known about it before it metastasized to the bones. So they would have. So just hear me out. Joe Biden probably, most likely, had this cancer as he was being elected into his first term in 2020. Okay? That's what I think. That's my opinion. But let's keep watching, shall we?
His rhetorical skills were not as strong as they had been, and his speeches were less effective, I thought.
We talked about age. We knew it was an issue, and we tried to design a strategy.
We had a discussion at the senior advisor level about whether the president should have a cognitive exam.
Flashback now to the legacy media's complete denial of the president's cognitive decline.
Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth.
And F you can't handle it.
Version of Biden is the best Biden ever.
Do you remember this shit?
Is great. It's fine.
You want to talk about a federal government that deceives you and lies to you, that pulls the wool over your eyes, that makes up shit and sells it to you like it's fucking chocolate ice cream? Come on.
It's as good as it's been over the years.
He is sharp. He is on top of things.
He's sharp.
Do you regret saying that President Biden had a mental
This one's a good
he
one.
had a sharpness to him?
I said what I believe to be true.
And you think he was as sharp as you?
Look at her.
I said
Did you see it, Warren's fucking response?
And I hadn't.
He is just fine. How people interpret that is up to them.
We're watching the testimony of this woman here, Annie Tomasini. She's the former senior advisor to President Joe Biden. She was the third person set to appear before James Comer's committee. She has now taken the fifth. There is now a pattern.
I love the chat lighting up. Appreciate you all having fun in the chat.
From criminal liability for this potential conspiracy.
Were you ever told to lie about the president's health?
This guy
Counsel, I must respectfully
pleads the fifth.
answer based upon the physician patient privilege and in reliance on my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Let the record reflect that Dr. O'Connor has invoked the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Dr. O'Connor, did you ever believe the president was unfit?
Okay, blunt front. Joe isn't in office anymore, but I'm setting the stage. Like I told you, I'm setting the stage because I'll just pull it up right now because it's right here, okay? Pull it up right here, right now, okay? Whoops, that's not what I wanted to click. It's fine. It's fine. We're here right now. We're doing it. We're doing it live. We're making it happen, folks. We are making it happen one post at a time. So when are we going to get a Dr. Fauci arrest for lying to Congress about the Wuhan lab's gain-of-function research, folks? When are we going to get that? Because the reason I was trying to set the stage to show you about Biden's cognitive decline and his mental acuity and his failing health was because how long was the Biden administration using the Autopen to write and pass bills or do presidential things that only the president, the commander-in-chief, would have the authority to do to get their way, to do their deeds. This right here, January 19, 2025, was Biden's last full day in office, and these are the signatures that were on the pardons given to the Biden family, the J6 committee pardons, the Lundegrath pardon, Dr. Fauci's pardon, and General Mark Milley's pardon, all with the same exact Autopen signature. For pardons. For pardons. It matches up perfectly. They use the Autopen to sign presidential pardons. This has never been done before. To use the Autopen to pardon, preemptive pardons, mind you. These are preemptive pardons. These people were not convicted of a crime, and yet Joe Biden gave them blanket pardons. Joe Biden gave Dr. Fauci a pardon going back till 2014. Another whataboutism, blunt front. Presidents use pardons, president uses Autopens all the time. It goes back to the fucking the hundreds of years. The fact is that they're using Autopens for legislation, and they're of cognizant mind. They are doing it knowingly, sitting in front of the Autopen themselves at times, using the Autopen for legislation, not for preemptive pardons. Exactly. Why did the Biden administration feel that they needed to write preemptive pardons with an Autopen? Answer me that. You want to play this game? Why did the Biden administration feel that they needed to preemptively pardon Dr. Anthony Fauci if he didn't do anything wrong? If he didn't lie to Congress about the gain-of-function research from the Wuhan lab that Rand Paul was grilling him on that brought the receipts to the fucking committee hearings? Why would they have to pardon General Mark Milley? when he was actively undermining the Trump administration, undermining and working with China and making phone calls behind closed doors during the Trump administration. No, people like you who refuse to see objective truth are dangerous. People that blindly believe one side of the conversation are the people who are dangerous. I see objective reality. I could call Trump out for many things. I'll call Trump out right now. You want me to call Trump out right now? I'll call him out because his unilateral authority to feel like he has the right to bomb Venezuelan boats in international waters. I don't like that. I think that there's a big problem with him blowing up drug boats in the international waters. I think that's a bad move. I also think it's a bad move to have Trump negotiating with Palantir to develop a surveillance state, to develop artificial intelligence, to use artificial intelligence with the Department of Commerce. I don't I don't like the fact that Howard Lutnick is the Department of Commerce secretary, and they're using AI. They're using AI infrastructure to develop infrastructure inside the Department of Commerce for the next 10 years. I don't like that. Wohong? You mean Wuhan? You mean Wuhan? Are you an AI bot? Are you a bot? I think you're a fucking bot, because it's not Wohong, it's Wuhan. But semantics. I don't speak freaky deaky Dutch. I mean Mongolian. I mean Chinese. I mean whatever. I don't speak that. But it's definitely not Wohong, it's Wuhan. Thank you. The phone call. I didn't hear about that. Can you Mark Milley's phone call to China? Mark Milley's backdoor conversations to China. I'll pull it up right now. It's literally the first thing that fucking comes up right now, dude. General Mark Milley made a phone call to his Chinese counterpart to reassure them that the U.S. had no intention of attacking China, especially during the time of heightened tensions between the following 2020 presidential election. These calls were intended to be de-escalate potential conflicts to maintain strategic stability. U.S. top general secretly calls China over fears Trump could spark a war effort. Like, U.S. General Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, called General Li Zhouhang of the People's Liberation Army on October 30th, 2020. 4 days before the election, again on January 8th, 2 days after Trump's supporters led a deadly riot at the U.S. Capitol. In the calls, Mark Milley sought to assure the lead that the U.S. states was stable and not going to attack, and if there were to be an attack, he would alert his counterpart ahead of time. I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like, I do my best to bring the fucking receipts, and I do my best to make sure I'm honest with my reporting. I don't just make shit up. At least I try not to. The fact of the matter is that Mark Milley called China behind Trump's, he is the Joint Chiefs of Staff for Trump. Trump tells him what to do, not the other way around. General Mark Milley went behind Trump's back and called an adversary, a political opponent of America, and said, don't worry, everything will be fine. Don't worry about Trump. Appreciate you listening, Blunt Front. I mean, from Reuters, U.S. top general secretly called China over fears Trump could spark a war report. Okay? Yeah. New York Post. I mean, it's right here. I don't know. I can keep going on, but I'm just trying to stay consistent here. Let's see what let's just listen.
Certain that I am certain, guaranteed certain that President Trump had no intent to attack. And it was my task to make sure I communicated that And the purpose was to de-escalate, calm things down.
You shared all that earlier, I
And
understand.
as part of that,
Just say, did you or did you not tell him that if we were going to attack, you would let him know?
as part of that conversation, I said, General Lee, there's not going to be a war, there's not going to be an attack between great powers. And if there was, the tensions would build up. There'd be calls going back and forth from all kinds of senior officials. I said, hell, General Lee, I'll probably give you a call, but we're not going to attack you. Trust me, we're not going to attack you. These are two great powers, and I am doing my best to transmit the president's intent, President Trump's intent, to ensure that the American people are protected from an incident that could escalate.
I understand your intent, but I think you articulating that you would tell him, you would give him a call, I think is worthy of your resignation. I just think that's against our country, that you would give our number one adversary that information and tell him that.
Why would then they need to pardon Mark Milley? This all ties together. Same thing with Dr. Fauci, okay? It all ties into this Biden Autopen. It all ties in with the Biden administration being a complete puppet, husk, bullshit coup attempt in our country. You want to talk about a coup? The Biden administration was Obama's third term because Obama was basically making the orders from a building down. He admitted to it himself. Obama admitted to it himself. I love how you spin it, though. I mean, I'll give you an A for effort that you really try your hardest to continue to perpetuate your own deluded worldview. I genuinely, you're doing an awesome job. Cheers to you. We're gonna pour one out. Gandalf's got something to tell you, Blunt Front. Right. No, at the end of the day, folks, it's all a fucking big ass game. It's all a bunch of bullshit. It's all a bunch of fucking incessant noise and static. Understanding global geopolitics and understanding what is happening in this world, we are at a bifurcation right now. We are past the Rubicon. We are in a post-Kirk America. And if you have not decided where your intentions, where your honor lies, if you are here representing a constitutional republic, trying to defend and secure our borders, trying to uphold liberty, life, and the pursuit of happiness here on the principles of our founding documents written by our founding fathers in the land of the free. Come here, be a legal citizen in this country, be a part of the American experiment. Do not abuse our system. Do not abuse our policies. Do not abuse and siphon off wealth from this nation. Do not do these things. You either part of the constitutional republic here to try to save and preserve America, preserve our Bill of Rights, preserve our Constitution, or you're with the fucking socialist, Marxist color revolution that was spawned on and brought in by Obama and all this leftist color revolution ilk of open borders, globalism, gun control, taking away your rights, suspending the Fourth Amendment, due process, right? All of these other things. I would rather have a country run by corporations than a country run by communists. I was going to talk about these other things too, but I think I'm going to be wrapping it up. It's been an hour and a half of me barking at the internet, so I appreciate everyone in the chat. I appreciate everyone in the stream. I am going to be wrapping up here, but I do generally appreciate everyone, even the haters in the chat. Appreciate you, Blunt Front. It was a fun live stream. I do enjoy having spirited conversations with people I vehemently disagree with. Who's communist? Destroying the identity, destroying family, destroying gender, devaluing the dollar, breaking down the social systems of America in the goal of trying to spark a larger and more authoritarian government that manages the means of production through legislative means, that is socialism, right? With that being said, folks, I do appreciate everyone in this stream right now, in this chat. Appreciate everyone on Rumble that stopped in. I appreciate everyone on YouTube lighting up the chat all day today. Jim, Will, appreciate you. Joe was in here earlier. Appreciate you. This one is for you. We're sending out thank you to the affiliate sponsor, the affiliate of Chainsaw Caucus, bringing it to the people. Chainsaw Caucus is sponsoring an affiliate program with Break the Chains Media. So I do want to bring out and shout out to Chainsaw Caucus, because Break the Chains Media speaks on maximizing liberty and limiting government. Chainsaw Caucus is his ethos, the mindset of the Chainsaw Caucus is to cut the government waste, cut government bloat, bring back true independent sovereign liberty to the will of the people. That is what we want to do with the Chainsaw Caucus, inspired by Javier Milei's Afuera in Argentina. Okay? Nonpartisan, independent, inclusive, and uniting. If you are interested, you can always check out the chainsawcaucus.org's website. And that helps me, that helps Chainsaw. And you know what? We light it up for our Chainsaw fans. We light it up for the Chainsaw crew. We fell the trees of big government. We cut them down to size, get them out of the way so we can actually spawn and foster individual sovereign liberties. If you are interested, chainsawcaucus.org is the website. You can find out all about them. Realm Walker Hot Sauce is the hot sauce for you. If you are interested, travel the 9 realms of Norse mythology through hot sauce. From mild to extreme heat, you can find all the flavors of hot sauce here at breakthechains.media, and you click on the Realm Walker Hot Sauce tab. But with that being said, folks, we are wrapping up this live stream. I appreciate everyone in the stream. I appreciate everyone in the chat. Tomorrow is Wednesday, October 29th, and I will most likely do a video. It's going to be a busy day, but if I do, I'll see you tomorrow. If I don't, I'll see you next time. But without further ado, I appreciate everyone in the chat. Appreciate Blunt Front being here. Appreciate Will. Appreciate Jim. Thank you all so much for being here. I love you. I appreciate you. And as always, fight for freedom and never give up.